I think for me, the judiciary, which is supposed to be the last hope of the common man, got a lot of Nigerians very scared yesterday. Because in the words of lawyers, you hear that judges will tell lawyers not to go on fishing expeditions. And from what I saw at the court yesterday, I thought that the judges went far and beyond. And for a long time, our election has suffered in the hands of electoral, manipulators, those who have stolen mandate, who have taken other people's mandate to call their own. And the courts were, on several occasions, try to want to look at how these issues will be resolved, including the issue of Adeleke and Oyetola. When when the court clearly states that, because one of the things the latest electoral tried to cure was to look at the power, the quasi-judicial power of INEC, because INEC as a commission was established under with the authority of the Constitution to undertake, to supervise, and to conduct elections for Nigeria. And as a commission, apart from the INEC, there's a commission. You have national commissioners from each of these 6 geopolitical zones, at the seat to try to discuss issues, pass small guidelines and regulations for conduct of election. And INEC passed one guideline in line with the provision of the constitutions that say that INEC will have the power to determine which method will be used to transmit the electoral results. Despite that, there's a section of the constitution that they say the election result will be transmitted already. And it's a dual function, because transmission is different from the transportation of electoral materials to the polling unit. It's transmission. It's just the method that the electoral power gave power to INEC to do. Then INEC now, in his own guidelines, said that they will use BVAS and IREF, which Nigerians, when over 30 billion naira was spent on this process. And then we come today and sit to watch that the judiciary throw away the baby with the bathwater, throw away the whole electoral process without even looking at the interest of Nigeria, and reverse all the electoral reforms that was carried out by various civil society groups, by PLAG, by YAGA, all the hopes and aspirations of people to make our electoral system fair, credible, and justiciable to the interest of all Nigerians. The reason why multi-party representative democracy have not tried is the failure for us to have transparent and credible election. And in every election cycle, we draw closer to that. Since 2011, our electoral cycle keep on improving. That's why we need the adjustment here and there to work in line with Justice Lemu election crisis report of 2011, and then work with Justice Way's report on how to unbundle the commission. But at this time, as I speak, where the yesterday judicial statement stamping the election has taken us 100 years behind. So that means people who want to contest election now do not have to depend on to have reliable data anymore, because the accreditation system that the BVAS carry gave us very exact data on how many people that were accredited to cast their vote for election. And then the IRF gave us an internet, how they call it, server portal, where we can store our electoral materials for the viewing public and for general verification by those who are participating in the process. Today, we need to also cure this process. The petitioners will attempt to get electoral materials from INEC, and it becomes impossible, as if INEC is part of those who will drag into to look at elections, and then the still mandate of those who are seeking to retrieve that mandate. Because the level at which INEC pursues electoral litigation with those who are petitioner is not good for the development of our democratic process. And whatever we do, we must always think of tomorrow, because what is happening today will affect the yet unborn generation, where the child of a poor man, a child of a vulnerable society, in a vulnerable state, cannot carry his hand and belong to a political party where his right and interest will be protected. That to say you must belong to the ones that are controlled by the oligarchs, by those who now have them capture the apparatus of state. Because we have always also educated. We've not seen how the kind of way that will be done to say that anybody who have been declared winner will wait for electoral litigations to be concluded before swearing, because it is so difficult. And the way those judges were reading yesterday and even attacking the petitioners. So we need to sit down as a people to say, do we still want to have a system that works? Do we still want a system that represents the interest of our people? Do we still want the minority? Do we want the system that protect the system of those of the just? If we don't want that system, we can just throw it away. If we don't want election, we can just sit down, do a selection, announce somebody, and then declare the person as a winner.
You talked about the way the judges were attacking the way they read their judgment. I saw you in the court yesterday. I was present also. At some point, sitting in there listening to that, I don't know if those that were watching online had the same feeling. It felt like the judges there were really the defendant of the APC and INEC. Did you have that same feeling?
It is the feeling that is all over Nigeria today. I almost shed tears in the courtroom yesterday. Because you are saying that if there's 18,000 blood papers that was certified by INEC. You are telling the petitioner would have named the list out the polling unit. How would the petitioner see the polling unit when even the deputy director also of INEC that came was asked, which polling can you read this paper? I say it's unreadable. So the petitioner cannot read it because it was stated in their written address that there were blood. So what we were supposed to look at is to say, are we going to be conducting election in this manner, where we cannot, rely on the data provided by INEC after? Why is it so difficult to even say if I have conducted an election in a transparent manner, and you say I should show you how I conducted the election, and I can't bring it? Why is that not shows that something is wrong somewhere? It's the reason why most people are still looking at the same report of Justice Waves, that the INEC must be unbundled. INEC is too overburdened with the kind of responsibility that it carries. INEC must be unbundled for us to have only election commission, and we have regulatory commission that manage political parties, that register political parties, and we have election how they call it violence commission, where those who perpetrate violence, who kill, who maim, who do all sorts of things, and then rig themselves to power, I also tried on that way. So if we unbundle INEC into 3 ways, it will help INEC, the commission, to concentrate only on election. Because as it is, INEC is not performing the mandate that it was given to him to perform independently.
Okay, now the the Labour Party and PDP have said that they're going to go to the Supreme Court. What do you think is next? Because so many Nigerians are heartbroken and disappointed.
A lot of Nigerians say, no, it's academic exercise. You will get the same result for what you got here. No. Anything a petitioner who has been injured by how they call it, a fraudulent electoral process, who have been given that kind of judgment, anything he must do to try to recover his mandate, it is left for the decision of the court. But he must fulfill all righteousness to show that in good faith he has acted according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to seek redress in court. They are happy that it was Peter Obi. Really, they are happy. They are grateful. You know what happened in 2011 when Buhari was not announced as the president of this country. You see, you know what he said. You know what the crisis, people who died in Kaduna, who died in the north. You know what will happen if it was somebody else that was not declared winner. They will call the dog and the baboons. It was even Peter Obi that stood up and said, everybody should be calm. They knew it. There was tension in this country. People were afraid. They tried to reach everybody to try to calm the system. But the man was a peaceful man. He's a peaceful man, sorry. He's a peaceful man, think and believe in that the system can give justice to the badly treated. And that's why he wanted justice from the court. So to make it look that the petitioner was ignorant of what he was seeking for, did not struggle to try to establish his case. When I was seated throughout the court proceedings for every sitting, where you will find out that they are telling INEC did not provide the necessary documents. Even when there's a subpoena on INEC, even when there's an order of the court that INEC should provide documents relating to election petition, INEC did not provide it. So and if you go to even provide, let me tell you something. The election petition tribunal is not the same thing like normal court. You can go and bring your own and they say it's not certified through copy. You can provide anything, they'll tell you no.
They provided certified through copy. One of their arguments was that they weren't provided by the polling unit agents.
The new electoral, this section 127 or so, cure that. They cure that. You know, we are not as naive as people think we are. Nigerians are enlightened now. Nigerians are more interested in how this country is governed. Nigeria are more interested that the people put in the place of authority do not think that Nigeria belongs to them, do not act at which that they can undermine the general interest of the general public. It is the large majority of Nigerians that determine how this country should go. And they did that through the ballot paper, through the ballot box. So you cannot, on your own, say that on the petitioner went on this, they brought this one, they didn't act well, and where I had problem in the first place was I was in the court when petitioners moved that they wanted the processes transmitted live. Let it be a live broadcast. I was in the court. The noble justices rejected that request. That it was not in line with judicial whatever and the court rule of
But
court.
it was done.
But are you now? Yeah, they now announced. Why I became worried was that they now announced they want to televise the final judgment on live television. So the process don't matter. It's the product that you should concentrate on. Is it not the process that determines the clarity, the transparency, and the truth in arriving at a conclusion?
Now, I can see that yesterday in court, many people who sat near Festus Kayamo, some of them said that they watched him when the judgment was being read, that you can actually see his lips move towards some of the things the judgment of the some of the things the judges were reading. Now, implying that he kind of is aware of the content or the direction that was going. Again, if some of us who follow him on Twitter, if you just oppose some of his argument on Twitter, it appears that also played out yesterday. But lastly, if you then look at the language used by the judges, like when they talked about the person from the Amazon Web Services, they said the so-called cloud engineer. Some of the languages were so condescending. Do you think that these were languages befitting of chief justices of Federal Republic?
I think the lady they're talking about, she's a cloud engineer. She said that before the honorable justices. And if they were willing to find out more, the justice of the Federal of the Court of Appeal has so much power. They can write to Amazon. They can write to agencies involved in trying to get information for them to see if she's so called or she's called. So at that level, I thought the justices went below the belt in acting as now unbiased umpire, to try to delegate the name and the personality of a person who came forward to try to give evidence in the court of law. If you have an issue on the point of law and you find the person was not qualified to give that evidence or the evidence contradict certain principle in law, you state it according to the law. And to reduce a person to so-called when the person was present in court. Yes, she contested under appeal. She never denied that. They say she's an interested party, she must be biased, but were the facts presented by her matters? Do they matter at all? Because we are tired of technicalities. We're tired of looking at issues from a point that is not cannot protect the rights of the general public.
So you think the case yesterday was decided on technicality?
I think because no issue was looked at, and for you to say that Beavers and Co and IRF is not necessary, I think our election system has been thrown into the current election. You could go and look at the outcome. Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa. It's going to be very dangerous because people will do all sorts of things to get themselves rigged into power. Because there won't be accurate data capturing system. So people will just read. And people will just grab, smash, take and announce result and let everybody now go to court.